Hey everyone, welcome to DCF Garage, and I've got my hands full today, but what we're going to do has nothing to do with the trunk. But I just wanted to show you, it's really hard to keep water out of your trunk when you got basically all of the weather seals have gone bad. But that's not what we're going to talk about. Today I'm going to replace the left front wheel bearing on my W211. I've already replaced the right wheel bearing because this was my first time doing a wheel bearing. I wanted to do it first before I filmed. It took a long time, but it's a learning curve, it's a learning experience. And here's the old wheel bearings. Let me get a flashlight. We got some old grease, and I had a substantial play in the bearing, and of course a lot of road noise when I drove at highway speeds. I bought the economy version, so this is a Vaco wheel bearing, that's what it's called. It comes with the inner bearing with the racer and the outer bearing with the racer and the seal, and it comes with grease. But I'm not going to use this grease. I bought a tube of Mercedes wheel bearing grease. It was, you don't have to, you can use any high temperature grease. This is not the professional way, this is the DIY way. The only thing I got is a loaner from AutoZone, the OEM bearing and race seal driver set. I got my vise, I got a hammer, screwdriver. One thing is important, before you start messing on your brakes, if your Mercedes has the SBC pump, which is basically a brake-by-wire, make sure you disconnect the pump because it can be very dangerous. If you open the door and it does a self-check and you don't have the pads on the caliper, it might just shoot out the cylinder and somebody can get really hurt. There are stories of people losing fingers. Just pull this tab and disconnect the pump, and after I'm done, I'm just gonna go back and reconnect it again, and that should be it. These are 17 millimeter and 13. So one thing you need to do is to remove the pad wear sensor. So just wiggle it and it comes out. All right, just leave it out. Before we put it in, we're gonna put some silicone. Disconnect these so we can hang the caliper. Pull it out, just like so. And we're gonna hang it. That's the inner side pad. The pads are good. We need a T30 Torx bit. This is good. This one came out. Now this one is a 5 millimeter hex bolt. I don't think it's supposed to be this tight. This is supposed to come off by hand. Maybe this is what caused the problem to begin with. Remove the lock nut, and then you pull out the assembly. Got the old bearings here. Don't look so bad, but they're making a lot of noise. Oh, there's a lot of play. I don't think that's, you know, the new bearings, I don't think they're like that. Old bearing with the Mercedes grease. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive out the race for the outer side. And for this, I don't know what size this is, but the bearing, race, and seal driver set helps me to drive out because it's the exact size to drive this one out. So I'm just gonna bang on this lightly. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm driving out the racer with the pin punch. So I'm carefully placing it right at the edge, and it's coming out. I'm just hitting on 4 sides, just a little bit on each side, and being careful not to hit the hub. So Let me continue working on this. When I have this out, I'll show you guys, but I'm just using a basic pin punch and a big hammer. So I took both racers out, the inner and the outer racer, and what really made a difference, what really helped, was having blasted it with penetrant oil, PB blaster, and let it soak for an hour. This made it come out really easy. Now I'm gonna get this clean and drive the new racers in, and let's pack the bearings too. So I got this one, which is just the size of the racer, and it doesn't interfere with the hub. So make sure that it's straight. I'm just gonna tap it lightly. Just tap it every side. You wanna make sure it starts evenly so I can see it's kind of straight. All right, so now we're ready to drive it in. That's it. Well, yeah, I can see it's seated now. All right, let's drive the outer race now. I'm gonna lube the track here, especially in the top. And again, guys, this is the DIY method. If you have a press, if you have the right Mercedes tools, awesome. If you don't, this is one way to do it. Okay, so let's drive in the outer race. So I got both in. I just made sure that they're completely seated. So here's what I learned on how to pack the bearing, right? You guys correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm gonna put some grease on my hand, and I'm gonna get the bottom side, and I'm gonna press the grease in until the grease starts coming out from the top. And I'm gonna do that all around the bearing. Same thing with the outer bearing. And we're running out of grease. Now let's put in the seal. Like that. Now let's turn to the other side. All right, let's go clean the spindle on the car. Make sure it's nice and clean. I'm also gonna grease the spindle. Now we're gonna go in with the bearing. We're gonna come in with the lock. This side faces inward. Okay, now here's the deal. You're supposed to have a dial with a magnetic base, so you can adjust the play of the hub to 0.01 to 0.02 millimeters. Now, I don't have a dial. I'm not gonna use a dial. I'm not gonna buy a dial. So what I saw was that you have to twist it by hand, that all the grease settles. Okay, so the trick I saw is that you finger tighten it and then you back up a little bit, and it should have almost no play. And I'm also considering that the grease, once it settles, there might be a little bit of play. So we're gonna go with it this way. All right, that looks good to me. I'm just gonna put more grease and put everything back together. 35 newton meters. And that's it. We put everything back together, put the brakes, rotor, put the clips, everything. We're ready to go in with the wheel. That's it. We come to the end of our video. I've replaced both bearings. I only showed you guys the left side bearing. The other side, it's the exact same process. No need to show it again. And remember, this is a DIY on the budget job. If you got better tools, if you got Mercedes specific tools, just use them. If not, this is a good option for an 18-year-old Mercedes. If you liked the video, remember to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you.